Miguel never believed in the old tales of the mananangal. He thought they were just stories meant to scare children into staying home after dark. But on one fateful night, he learned that some nightmares are real. It was past midnight when Miguel's shift ended, and he had no choice but to take the long, isolated road back to his village. The road was surrounded by dense trees, their branches stretching out like clawed hands in the darkness. His motorcycle rumbled through the silence, the only sound accompanying him besides the rustling of the wind. Then his headlight flickered. For a second, everything went dark. The engine stuttered. His breath caught in his throat as he saw something standing in the middle of the road. A woman. Her figure was barely visible, her long black hair covering her face, her body still as a corpse. Miguel's heart pounded. He slammed the brakes, skidding to a stop just a few feet away from her. His pulse hammered in his ears. "Miss, are you okay?" he called out. No response. A chill crawled down his spine. Something was wrong. Then she moved. Crack! A sickening wet sound filled the air as her torso ripped itself from her lower half. Miguel's blood turned ice cold. Before he could react, massive bat-like wings exploded from her back, sending gusts of wind in all directions. The woman, no, the creature, tilted her head up, revealing milky white eyes and a jagged, blood-stained mouth stretching into an inhuman grin. It hissed, its voice sending a dagger of fear through Miguel's chest. Then, in a blur, it leaped. Bam! It landed directly on his motorcycle, its claws tearing into the metal. Miguel barely threw himself off in time before Shrike! The mananangal's long, needle-like tongue lashed out, stabbing into the seat where he had just been sitting. He scrambled back, his breathing ragged. The sickly stench of rot and blood filled his nostrils. Then he heard it, flapping above him. Miguel jerked his head up, and she was there, hanging upside down from a tree. Her head twisted unnaturally, her grin widening as she whispered, "I can smell your fear." Miguel ran. He sprinted into the woods, branches slashing at his skin, his lungs burning. The flapping grew louder, closer. A gust of wind slammed into his back. He stumbled forward, falling face first into the dirt. And then, silence. Panting, Miguel barely lifted his head. Nothing. Then, a drop. Something wet landed on his cheek. His stomach twisted as he slowly looked up. The mananangal was right above him, grinning. "Got you!" Miguel screamed. Bang! A shotgun blast ripped through the air. The mananangal shrieked in pain as it lurched backward, its flesh burning where the bullet struck. Another shot rang out, sending it screeching into the sky. Mangalias, the town healer, stood there, reloading his gun. "Hee-ho, get up!" he barked. "She's not done yet." Miguel staggered to his feet. Mangalias tossed him a pouch of salt and vinegar. "Cover yourself with this. She won't come near you." Miguel barely had time to rub the mixture onto his arms before a final deafening screech echoed through the trees. The mananangal hovered above them, her white eyes burning with fury. But she didn't attack. She hovered there for a moment, her long tongue writhing, her eyes locked onto Miguel like a predator memorizing its prey. Then, with one last ear-splitting shriek, she turned and vanished into the night. Miguel collapsed to his knees, shaking. Mang Elias sighed, lowering his shotgun. "She knows your scent now. You better pray she doesn't come back." From that night on, Miguel never traveled alone at night again. But even in the safety of his home, when the winds howled and the leaves rustled outside his window, he could swear he still heard it. The flapping of wings, waiting,